Yeah, we are laying up good stuff. Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Backdraft and welcome to another episode of the Create Above and Beyond Mod Pack. This is episode number 2. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you love the Create mod, Minecraft automation, and redstone engineering, then this is the series for you. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another episode. So if you missed episode 1 in this series, then I highly recommend you go back and watch it. The playlist should be linked down in the description. But in episode 1, we just got our bearings set. We got the basics of the Create mod up and running over here. We got our encased fan, our millstone, and our mechanical press set up over here, as well as a little cubby where we can store our items and sleep soundly for the night. In addition to that, we were able to make our first diamond pickaxe. We also set up a little farm up on the hill behind me up there. You can kind of see it. And we did a little exploration, and I found a ruined portal, actually. And in there, we had a little bit of gold armor. And since iron is very scarce right now, I ended up just throwing on the gold armor, so we have a little bit of protection. I know I look a little bit like a jagweed, but, you know, when you're poor, this is what you work with. Also in that ruined portal, we found a block of gold, which was super handy. That's gonna come in handy. And we have 11 magma blocks. Now in the Create mod, magma blocks are actually really good to make encased fan radial contraptions, which is going to be one of the goals of this episode. We also updated the mod pack to version 1.1, which added in a bunch of fixes, so our game looks like it's running a little bit more smoothly now. A few other things have also changed. There's a few more quests which I'll show in a sec, and one of the most important things that changed is kinetic mechanisms are now about half the cost. I think it used to be 2 cogwheels, 2 andesite alloys, and a log along with a saw would get you 1 kinetic mechanism, but now it's just 1 cogwheel and 1 andesite alloy, so that is going to save us a lot of time in making andesite machines. Also, if we go over here and look at the quests, we go to, I think it was just the overview. Yeah, so we now have this extra quest over here called preparations, where once we get all of the Create mod stuff up and running, we get 3 crafting blueprints, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen any other new quests so far, but either way, this is the quest line that we're going to be concentrating on in this episode and getting as much of this up and running as possible. So I already accidentally checked off the automatic wood farm, automatic andesite, and automatic sand. Well, sand is useful for getting clay. I accidentally checked those off. It just lets you do it automatically, but we're going to concentrate on getting as many of these farms up and running, including kelp as well, so that we can work our way towards automating the andesite machines. And the other 2 things that are part of the list, if we can get to them today, are automating iron and gold. Now you can actually do that pretty easily. It won't be very fast, but at least it'll get us some iron and we don't have to mine it all the time. So if we create mechanical drills, we can then create a cobblestone generator. We'll need an andesite machine for that, and we'll need some lead and iron, which is not a big deal. To make a mechanical drill. Then we can create a cobblestone machine. We can feed that cobblestone into a millstone, and that will grind it down into gravel. I'm all over the place here. That will grind it down into gravel, and then if you bulk wash gravel, which we can do pretty easily, you get a 12% chance to get 2 iron nuggets. That would be a very basic iron farm that we can set up pretty easily once we get the materials. For gold, it's pretty much the same thing, just a little different though. So in order to get gold, you can bulk wash red sand. Now to get red sand, you mill granite. Now in this mod pack, there's something called custom generating, cobble gen randomizer, I guess is what it is, where if water and lava combine together, which in vanilla Minecraft that would normally make cobble, but if they do it on top of a piece of bedrock, they make granite. Then we can grind the granite down into red sand and wash that red sand to get a 12% chance to get 2 gold nuggets. So very basic farms. If we have time, we'll do that in this episode. And if we also have time, we can start the basics for our base, our launch pad here. So the vision I have is we're going to have a launch pad built above the crashed meteorite here. kind of, I don't know exactly what we're going to build it out of yet. I think there's factory blocks. I accidentally just jumped there. Yeah, factory blocks. Factory blocks are super, super cool. There's all kinds of really cool ones that make it look all futuristic-y and stuff. So I think we're going to end up using those, and then surrounding the meteor, the crater, I guess is what you can call it, we're going to be building all of our contraptions, and we'll probably have staircases leading down into underground laboratories, which we're going to be building. I'm super excited. Let's just get into it. So we're just down here doing some mining. I decided to brave it out and jump into that giant cave that we discovered last episode, and I killed a bunch of mobs, ended up running by them. Just been grabbing all of the ore, making sure to watch my back, and but yeah, we're gonna need a ton of iron and a bit of gold. We actually got a bit more gold, which is pretty cool. We'll see if we can find some more. Now, one thing I have discovered in this mod pack, which I'm pretty sure other people have already discovered too, is this stuff. This is called broken stone. So if you step on it without, we get rid of that spider first. If you step on it without crouching, so if you crouch and step on it, you're fine. But if you step on it when you're not crouching, it will actually break underneath you and you could fall very, very, very far. And my sword just broke. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna collect up all the ore, and then we're gonna head back to the surface. Okay, so we made it back to the surface alive. We're currently crushing down all of the ore that we got and washing it, and we're up to 14 iron ingots right now, which is pretty good. I want to try and make some iron armor. We'll see how much we have left over because I really need to get these farms up and running. So let's get to grinding, milling. Oh, that was a horrible attempt at a pun. Please laugh at me. So after that mining session, this was our haul. We ended up with 14 lead, 10 nickel, 14 copper and a few nuggets, 16 gold and a few nuggets, 24 zinc, and 60 iron and a few nuggets. 60 iron, that's super, 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 super awesome. That would have been like 10 if we didn't have this set up already. So now it's time to start building all of the materials we're going to need to get the farms up and running. So I think the first two farms that I'm going to do, we're going to do a wood farm and we're going to do a kelp farm. Then on top of that, we also want to get our iron farm and gold farm up and running. I know we still also have to do a couple of runs as well. We still have to do the clay washing and the andesite farm. So andesite, much like granite, you can actually do with what's called the custom generating once again. So if you do lava and water on top of bedrock, you get andesite, weight 25%, but you can also get granite. I don't exactly know how you make it different, if it's like random or what. I don't know. We're gonna have to mess around with that. But yeah, so once again, we want to get the wood farm and the kelp farm up and running first. So let's get the materials going for that, and I think we're also going to start building up some platforms around, and we want to get, like I said, the launch pad, the main area up and running as well. And it's getting dark, so we should probably sleep, and I'll check back with you guys in just a sec. So the first one we're doing is the wood farm. For this, the big things are we need 3 mechanical saws, 3 deployers, and then we need the portable storage interfaces. Now, if you're familiar with Create, they actually changed the portable storage interface recipe in this one so that it's a little cheaper, so you don't need brass to get it. I think you need brass in Vanilla Create. Is that a thing? I don't know. Let's make it a thing. But essentially, if you put an andesite machine into a stone cutter, there's a bunch of different things you can get out of it. So you can get harvesters, andesite tunnels, plows, funnels, and then the portable storage interface just by, I guess, deconstructing the andesite machine. So that's what we're gonna need. So in total, we're gonna need 7 andesite machines for this wood farm. And that means we're gonna need like a stack and a half of logs for this. So I'm just going around manually collecting up logs. Hopefully this will be the last time I will have to do this. So I actually forgot, you can use the stone or mechanical saw to chop down trees a lot faster. And that actually is one more thing on our main quest line here, and this quest in particular that we needed. So then we still need a wrench and a mechanical mixture to get those 3 crafting blueprints, so that's progress towards that. But either way, if you take the mechanical saw, you can actually use it with a, I think it's called the hand crank, which should be pretty cheap. We need a couple planks for that, but it's actually a lot faster to chop down trees with this, and I can actually show you guys how this works right now. So I need to actually make one more thing. I need to make an axe. because with the 2x2 trees rather, it's a little bit more difficult to chop those ones down, but still you can chop down an entire tree super fast, whoops, using this method. So let's pick this simple tree right here. So let's put down the mechanical saw, put the hand crank, and then watch. The entire tree just gets decimated and we can pick up all of that wood. It is super cool. We're gonna need this anyway to build our automated tree farm, so this is what we're gonna do to get the rest of the wood we need. Okay, just to show how awesome this is on a 2x2, you have to mine out 3 of the 4 at the base, then put your mechanical saw on the last one, which I'm going to do right here. Now, the other thing is this actually causes you to get a lot more hungry, which is fine because I've got a lot of bread on me right now, so that's not a problem. But look how big this tree is. So once this thing cranks it down, the whole tree is just going to break. Look at that. It's so awesome. And all the wood actually goes in one direction as if the tree fell down, which is super cool. So we already have enough wood to do as many machines as we're going to need. After what seems like 15 years of crafting, we finally have everything we need to build the wood farm to start off with. Now, this is just going to be a farm for logs, but if you look at the quest line here, the first thing they want you to do is get logs, and then they want you to strip the logs down, then convert the stripped logs into planks and the planks into slabs. Now, in this mod pack, if you cut stripped logs down using a mechanical saw, you actually get 6 planks instead of 4. And then they want you to take the planks and cut those down even further and get 2 slabs. So you can essentially get 12 slabs per log. Now, the reason they want you to do this in the progression line is because in the sequenced assembly, when you do the kinetic mechanisms, keep in mind this is all to automate andesite machines. So with the kinetic mechanism in the sequenced assembly, you need a slab, 2 andesite alloy, and then your saw to get the kinetic mechanisms. So they want you to break it down into slabs, which I think we will do after we get the farm set up. But before we get the farm set up, I think it's time to start making this place a little bit more homey and looks like a awesome space engineer guy lives here. So I don't know, we're gonna work with what we have. So we're gonna use, I think, jungle planks and factory blocks, which I showed you guys before, and we're actually gonna chisel the factory blocks into, I think, this one right here, one of these 2, just to make it look more launch paddy sort of thing. And then I think we'll build a couple other platforms, one of which will be for the wood farm. The other will be for the kelp farm that we're going to be building in this episode as well. So we got some building to do. Let's get to it. Alrighty, we have been very busy. We have built our central platform for the launch pad. Here it is. We ended up using these chiseled jungle planks and just the base factory blocks, because I think with the chiseled jungle planks, and just the regular factory blocks, that actually mesh very well. We might end up changing what this looks like as we go, once we actually officially start building the rocket and all that. So I set up my storage over here. It's nothing fancy, just labeled some chests with miscellaneous stuff. We got our create stuff over here, mine resources, etc. Miscellaneous is over here, and we have a bunch of other chests in case we want to specialize a chest for something in particular. Now let me show you what we got going on over here on this other platform. So underneath we have, if you guys aren't familiar with the create mod, I'm just going to briefly explain what we have here. So we have a magma block, and on top of that we have an encased fan. Then on top of the encased fan, which you actually can't see, but if I break right here, we have a mechanical bearing, and the mechanical bearing is attached to a radial chassis. So on the encased fan, we have a lever, and when we turn it on, we have rotational power. So we can build our wood farm using this. I do have to put dirt down right here. I think around most of it is going to have to be dirt. But the idea now is we place down the linear chassis, not like that. I think I have to not hold shift. We place down the linear chassis like this, we slime them, and then we put our mechanical saws here, and then we have the deployers above it. This is the exact same design, almost the exact same design, not as big, that I built in my create mod SMP. So we have the mechanical saws, and then we're going to take the deployers, we're going to put those behind here somewhere, and those are going to be responsible for placing down the saplings. Then we also have to attach some chests back here. I don't think we need very many chests, but we'll just put 3. And then we have to replace the base with dirt, put the deployers into place, and then it will automatically work. And I almost forgot, we have the portable storage interfaces, which I'll put the one right here, which then means I'll probably put the other one over here, so this is actually on the edge of the platform. So I would need to go out 2 and put the other portable storage interface, and then I think we can actually feed it into a chest using a chute. Chutes are that gives us 4 chutes. They're relatively cheap, so I'm not worried about that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish building up this farm, and then I'll show you guys what we end up with. So the farm is up and running, and here it comes harvesting its first couple trees. So we got 1 oak, and then the jungle. So the saws are gonna break both of the trees, and everything is grabbed and put inside of the contraption temporarily. And then once the portable storage interface makes its way over here, it will put everything into the chest right there. So we have more trees are growing. We have successfully set up our tree farm. Now the next thing we got to do for the trees, of course, these are growing like crazy now, wow. The next thing we got to do for the trees, of course, is we have to set up the stripper, the log stripper, then that converts it to planks, and then the one that converts it into slabs. Now I don't want to do that just yet, because logs themselves are useful as is for creating kinetic mechanisms and such. At least with, well, if you're doing the sequenced assembly, let's look at the kinetic mechanism real quick. If you're doing the sequence, oh yeah, you actually don't need logs for the sequenced assembly. So we might end up repurposing this farm as part of the automated andesite machines. So for now, we're just gonna let it go and crank out some wood. And once it fills up, I think we'll empty it out, and then we'll look into setting up a couple other farms. By the way, if you're wondering where I got these slime balls from, this is actually the sky slime from Tinker's Construct. There is a slimy tree right by where my base is. My base is right over there. I found this when I was wandering around. So the ground actually spawns with these congealed sky slime blocks, and when you break them, you get 4 slime balls, which is super, super cool. And I think if you break the leaves from this, you might be lucky enough to get a sapling. I think it's called like a slimy sapling or something. Yep, here we go. A skyroot sapling. So if you can get your hands on one of those, you can actually grow your own slime, which is super, super cool. I think we're gonna try to mess around with this a little bit more. Alrighty, we got the kelp farm going over here, and it's actually doubling up as a fish farm. I mean, I don't really know how to collect the fish right now. I guess we could capitalize on that, but there's fish spawning in there, and they're getting taken out by the harvesters. Not ending up the chest over here. But we got the kelp going. We got about 3 stacks of that so far. So that is another farm down. Over here, I've built another platform. Let me climb back up the ladder here. Over here, I set up another platform. This is where I'm gonna put all the create mod items that I had so far. So we got the water wheels actually set up down there, and we're kind of running the power up here using some cogs. So the idea is we're gonna have the millstone here, and I created some andesite funnels actually, so that we can do this a little bit more automated when we're doing our ore processing. So we can put another cog wheel up here. We can put the big one here. We can put another big one down below it, I think right here. I don't know why it doesn't want to place. Hang on a second. Let's see if we can put this right there. It is. There it is. There it is. There we go. Okay, then we can put a small one here, and we can put our millstone right next to it. Where did my millstone go? There it is. So we can put the millstone here, and then anything that gets grinded up by the millstone. So for example, I'll throw cobblestone in there. Once that's done, it's going to end up getting dispensed out the side here through the funnel. And then the idea is we're going to have our encased fan somewhere, and it will automatically wash it. So there we go. We got gravel, and it will automatically wash the gravel if that's what we desire to do. So then we could probably throw our mechanical press over here. This should be able to go on top. I don't know why not. Okay, well, that works too. So we could put our mechanical press here, and then our encased fan we could probably throw like over here or something. We'll just have to run some cogs over that way. So we got everything set up pretty nice. We got it pretty compact over here. So we have our mechanical press here. Anything that we need to stamp down, we can put underneath it right there. But the cool part that I was able to do is all of this right here. So we got the encased fan there, which is bulk washing everything that ends up on top of this depot right here. And then if we throw anything into this chest right here, it'll go into the millstone, and then once it's milled, it'll end up on the depot and just automatically get washed. So this is super cool. Let me show you guys exactly what we're working with. If I throw the wheat in here, it will end up into the grindstone, and then every piece of wheat that gets ground down into the wheat flour, I think is what it is. Well, yep, there you go. Will end up right there on top of that depot, and then it is getting bulk washed and will turn into the bread dough right there, and then I can just come and pick it up whenever I feel like it. It won't end up despawning, kind of like we had with the setup over there. So this is pretty cool. I left some space over here because I think this is where we're going to be doing our passive iron farm, but that is actually a whole nother story. So it's a lot more difficult to do that because you need filters, and if you're going to be doing filters in the create mod, you actually need brass funnels, which require brass machines, and we're nowhere near that right now with the technology that we have. But we could potentially use vanilla redstone filters, which I know how to do pretty easily. That would require a lot of iron to start with, because I think we would need somewhere along the lines of like 10 hoppers or something like that. Actually, let me see if I can do some quick math in my head here. I think it's 7. We would need 7 hoppers to be able to do that, or 7. It's at least 6 or 4, 6. We would need at least 6. Trust me, it's 6. So we would need to go and get 6 times 5 iron ingots, which is 30 iron, which isn't that bad now that we have this set up over here. We would just need to do a bit more mining. So I just got back from another mining session. We're currently processing up all of that ore. We ended up with about a stack and about 14 of iron ingots, and I did make 3 hoppers. Now I only made 3 because I just had a specific thought. Now let me show you guys exactly what I'm thinking here for the iron farm. So if I put a hopper down and put a depot on top of that, and let me just place another block here so that I can get on top of this. So the problem with creating an iron farm in the early game here is you don't have a filter that won't let the gravel, that would stop, as soon as I can get this up here, that would stop the gravel from passing through the depot and into whatever is below it if you're trying to just filter out, say, the iron ingots. Now what we could do though is we could fill this hopper up if I put 3 flint in here and 2 iron ingots, which are the byproducts of washing gravel. I can now let the gravel sit here until it is done being washed. So once it's done being washed, it has a chance to become an iron ingot or a piece of flint, and then once it becomes one of those items, it should in theory get sucked into the hopper below, and we've essentially created an AFK iron nugget farm early game. That's super cool. So the idea here is I'm probably going to set up 3 of these, and then we'll have 2 encased fans washing a bunch of the gravel. Obviously, we're going to have millstones milling down cobblestone. We need to have mechanical drills that break the cobblestone and feed it into the millstones. So we got a bit of work to do here, but we should have all the materials that we need to make this AFK iron farm. Now, the other thing is we can only really store up about 6 stacks of iron nuggets, but this is going to be a passively slow farm. So as long as every now and then I come over and just make sure I empty out the hoppers, then this thing should work just fine for us. Let's get cranking. The passive iron farm is now up and running. So let me show you guys what we have over here. Right now it's just a bunch of cog spaghetti, but this early on we can't really, make anything super pretty. We're just trying to get it to be functional. So what we have going on is, actually you can kind of see it from behind here, we have the mechanical drills are pressing down the cobblestone that's being generated from lava flowing into water. That cobblestone is then being fed into millstones, which are behind these andesite funnels right here. Maybe if we go around back, you can probably see them. Yeah, here we go. There are the millstones. And then once the cobblestone is ground down into gravel, it's dispensed out onto these depots here. So then it's getting washed, and we have a 12% chance to produce some iron nuggets and a 25% chance to produce some flint. So then each of these hoppers, we're essentially creating like a pseudo filter here, because it's only allowing the flint and the iron nuggets to pass through. So it looks like right now we got about 6 iron ingots. Overall, this isn't super fast. It's meant to just passively produce some iron so we don't have to rely on mining sessions too often. And I'm gonna have to come back every now and then and just empty it out to make sure that it doesn't fill up. I think if it does fill up, the whole thing will be fine, because any excess cobblestone that's produced will just get burned up in the lava. But anyway, ladies and gents, this is all the time we have for this episode. The progress we've made this episode is we have the automatic wood farm up and running. We still have to get it down to the slabs. We got the kelp farm up. And we opted to get the iron first because iron is super important in doing the other 2 farms that we need, the andesite farm and the clay farm. So the whole goal is to eventually hook all of these farms up together so that it will automatically produce our kinetic mechanisms. For now, we're just letting them passively run. The other thing that we're going to need to start producing is rubber, because this is what's used actually in this mod pack to create belts. So if you are familiar with the create mod, rubber is not in the base create mod. To create belts, you just need dried kelp, but in this you need rubber. And I think the easiest way to get rubber, it's just base rubber, not cured rubber. The easiest way to do this, I think, is through compacting. So it would need to be able to produce vines. Either that, what else? So we can do so flowers and water is one way to do it, or resin. Resin is actually extracted from trees. We'll have to figure that out. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to hit that thumbs up. And if you're looking forward to the next episode, hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you do not miss when it comes out. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we are in the place to be. Yeah, yeah, yeah.